Yo, what up everyone? In this video, we are going to be seeing what units are worth your cashola. We are going to start off with the Mace Cameraman. He has almost the highest damage in the game, but for pay-to-win units, he has the highest damage per second. He also comes at the hefty price of $5. In-game, you can place him down for just 200, which is pretty solid. He does have a small range though. He does have really good DPS, but a very long cooldown. One of the longest cooldowns in the game for pay-to-win units. Overall, I would say he's worth it. He does damage. He's really good against the big units, like the Michael Jackson units, or the Scientist TV Man, or G-Man 3.0. If you had a few of these guys down, that he could really just demolish those big, strong toilets. Next, we have the Green Laser Cameraman. He does solid damage, does 9,000 damage per second. He's cheap in-game, costing only 150 in-game dollars. In order to get him, you do have to spend 5 real-life dollars. But he has solid damage per second, of course. His cooldown is very short, only 0.2 seconds when he's fully upgraded. His range is also pretty solid. It's not amazing, it's not bad, it's just solid. He's overall really good, and then he also has the effect of slowing down the toilets, which can be very useful when collaborated with the Chef TV Man or something like the Engineer Cameraman. He's very good overall. I would say he's also worth it. Next is the Shield Cameraman. He costs $250 in-game to place down. His damage is 5,000. Damage per second is 10,000 though. He has a solid cooldown of 0.5. His range is 25, which is decent. It's really not that great, but it's okay. Overall, I would say he's not worth it. He doesn't have any special effects other than stunning units, but it's really not that great. Really not that good. If you're gonna get a pay-to-win unit, just get the Mace Cameraman. Next, the Scientist TV Man. He is one of the best characters in the whole game. Him being able to build walls that go up to 250,000 HP is amazing. And then being able to rebuild those walls every 20 seconds is unbelievable. But on top of this, the walls he makes that become turrets can actually do damage to the toilets. Overall, he costs 200 in-game dollars to place down. So I would say he's cheap and he's very useful. Would I buy him? Yes. One of the best units in the game. If you're gonna buy any exclusive, either buy the Scientist TV Man or the Green Laser Cameraman. Next is the Titan Cameraman. Now the Titan Cameraman used to be very good, but because of power creep, he is definitely not as good. He only has 7,500 DPS, so 7,500 damage a second. His range is 55, which is very good, but it doesn't make up for the small amount of damage. His cooldown is 0.1, which is definitely solid. It's very good. I mean, that's the best cooldown in the game, I believe. But of course, other people have the 0.1 cooldown. Also, his damage, it's not great. I think that's really where he loses points. His damage is just not that good. Honestly, I think he needs a buff. He needs his damage to be buffed. He used to be attainable. I don't think you can buy him currently, but if you could, he's not worth it. I would not trade any buyable unit right now for him. He's just not worth it. Next, we have the Jetpack Cameraman. I believe he was recently removed from the game. Being able to be bought. He's still in the game. You can still use him. He is definitely a decent unit. His cooldown, when fully upgraded, is 1 second. So it's definitely okay. But his range is 45, which is still pretty solid. That's above average for the pay-to-win units. He has 10,000 damage per second, though, which, once again, is pretty solid. It's pretty solid. It's the same with the Shield Cameraman, but he doesn't have the stun effect, which makes the really big difference between the Jetpack and the Shield. So, if they made his cooldown, like, even 0.5 better, I mean, so it would be 0.5 less. So 0.5 seconds. Then he'd be probably the best pay-to-win unit. I don't think he needs a buff yet. Not as much as the Untitled Cameraman, but he's definitely in need of some type of buff. Overall, he's decent. I wouldn't buy him. If you're gonna buy a pay-to-win unit that you're looking for that does a lot of damage, get the Mace or the Shield instead of him. Definitely, the Shield just does his job just so much better. Next, and lastly, we have the TV Woman. She does 500 damage. I mean, once again, she's so outdated. She is terrible. She's desperately in need of a buff. She costs 300 in-game dollars to place down. For reference, that is double the Green Laser Cameraman and triple the Shield Cameraman. So that is just terrible. Also, the TV Woman, I mean, the damage is just terrible. 500 and then 1,000 DPS. That's 1,000 damage a second. That is terrible. That is so bad. She does have the burn effect, but the burn effect doesn't even do anything. It's terrible. And then the cooldown is 0.5, which is good, of course, but it's just so bad. It's compared to the damage, even if its cooldown was 0.1, its damage would still be abysmal. Terrible. And its range is 14. That is the worst range we have seen in all of these units. So she has the worst range. Not even the best cooldown. And she has the worst DPS. And she's one of the more pricey units. So do not buy her. Whatever you do, do not buy her. She is AoE, but she's not worth it. She's terrible. She's horrible. So, that's my conclusion. There are definitely some good units that you should buy. But there's also a lot of units which you should definitely stay away from. Some of them may no longer be in the game. But I would avoid trading Robux or even any other unit for them because they're just abysmal.
In life, there's roadblocks.